Hello, Chidi. Thank you very much for coming today. This is the Multinational Network, and this is a dream come true for me. My hope is the Multinational Network helps people and inspires senior managers and executives move from one level to the other. And I believe I can do that through stories. All right, so Chidi, it's a pleasure. For me, the first thing I like to say is, how did your journey begin? Just put some background story to this. I met you in GSK. That was about in 2012. You're my first GM, first MD I met for the company. I learned a lot watching you over 12, 15 years. Your story from moving from different companies, from FMCG to Telecoms. Now you're a partner in a private equity company. You're also a facilitator in Lagos Business School. Your career is just amazing. So I want to understand for you, how did your journey begin?
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. If you go back, I think it's 1989 thereabout. My career started, I think, from JL Morrison. That was the first one I did after you served. But before then, I had worked in a retail pharmacy. I went into EMZO, etc. But one of the things I did was being clear what I wanted to do. I tried to be clear. I wanted to be a salesperson. I studied pharmacy, as you may know already, but I wanted to be a salesperson. But when you go back to my background, my mother had a store, a restaurant. My father was a chemist, and I used to be around those businesses. And I think that probably helped shape what I eventually went on to do. But my career, leaving school, we all look for work. One of the things I tried to do was, if I can get into sales, perhaps it can lead me to whatever the future holds, or whatever I meet, because I believe that sales is very important to every organization. And I knew that. I saw that early on. I was attending conferences as far back as 88 when I was doing an internship. I always attended conferences, symposiums, and I always got interested in when they spoke about sales and marketing. And I think that got me to start paying more attention, showing more interest to that. And I think my career went in that trajectory all the way through different industries, milk industry. I worked in personal care industry, Reckitt Benckiser. I worked at EMZO. I worked in telecommunications, at Pharmaceuticals, of course, at GSK, USC, etc. And then I'm where I am today, trying to do a couple of things at the same time. It's a very long story,
Yeah, so I like the way you're making it simple, but for many people, this really is not a simple journey. I have struggled through different steps I've had. There's always been that struggle, that fear factor. But I knew, for me, I had to move that path. In the clinic when I used to work, I literally could see the future, and I said, this is not what I want to do. Was there a turning point for you, especially when you're a young employee, where you decided, this is not going to be my whole life? What was the defining moment for you early on that put you on a trajectory to achieving what you have achieved so far?
I think one of the things I learned early in my career is to be able to look beyond today. And just, I used to have a supervisor that asked me, what would you be doing in 30 years time? It was like, what's this? What would you be doing in 10 years time, in 20 years time? And I started to reflect on that. And I started to say, okay, what if? And I started to build scenarios and situations. Started to imagine things, what would I like to be doing in 20, 30 years time? What would I be doing when I quit job? How can I build the experience I need to be able to thrive after now? I think that was a critical thing. How do I build the network, the knowledge, the skill set that I will need? And I think I started to reflect. I think that was about 1993 thereabout. I got that question. And since then, I started to look beyond the job I did. And the more I looked beyond the job I did, the more confident I got to make the moves I was making. Because the key thing is, if you have a goal, if you have a clear vision where you want to be, somehow you can find a path to it. But if you have no goal or vision, you're going nowhere. I think about that 93, I started to imagine.
What role were you in then?
I think I was a product manager for a company.
This was really low beginning days, early days.
Yeah, and I really tried to learn. Yeah, that was early days for me. Yes.
Because now that's tricky, because many people are afraid of tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's a strong fear to think about tomorrow. It's better to even think about it. And so they hold on to that 9 to 5. That's what they have, right? Sometimes it works out for people. Sometimes it doesn't work out for people. Sometimes it works out and they get to ripe old age of retirement, and then reality hits them, right? How did you, even though you're thinking about tomorrow, there has to be a certainty that, what was that? How did you break through that?
Yeah. I mean, there's no hard and fast rule to this. But the first thing is, if you're building the knowledge, okay, if you're big value adding to organizations you work for, number two, if you're building the skill set, the networks that you need, the connections that you need to thrive, I think the fear factor start to vanish. You know that even if I get out of here, I'll still be useful. You know that even if you stop here or you move to another place, you still can find somebody who will trust and believe in you. But it's more about what value do you add, what knowledge do you. So when career for me was about going to learn things to prepare me for the next things that I have to do. Yeah, it was about that. The more you prepared, if you're prepared, you can ride the fear. Okay? If you're prepared, that element of uncertainty can become a bit of risk, and you can mitigate risk. I think that's what I try to do. I try to, every job I go into up until this day, even the jobs I do, is all about me trying to learn something so I can be useful to myself, to somewhere else in future. That's key. And the more you prepare, if you have a goal and you start to prepare and work towards that goal, that fear will start to vanish. And then when you make after you make the first move, you can now easily make the second, third, fourth move. It's more about preparation, but thinking through that. If you think through that early on, you're prepared to respond. If you're not thinking through that earlier, which most people don't do, the fear stays there, the cloudiness stays there. They never make that move. But it doesn't mean that you must move around to have a good career. You can be one company, you have a great career. You could also have a very short career, 3, 4, 5 years. You go and build business. I've seen people do that. Or you can be there for 30 years like I did and move around and still, find your path here. There's no hard and fast rule. It depends on what you desire for yourself and what you work towards. Otherwise, circumstances could work towards something for you.
I love the way you've painted the picture. It's really the perfect picture of what life is for everyone. I hear a few things you are saying. Number one, you said, what is your goal? What's your goal? You said network, build knowledge, add value, build skill.
That's right.
So that reminds me of a quote I heard several years ago. If someone is stripped and dropped somewhere remote, somewhere else apart from his local base, he should be able to make value out of where he is. And I also heard that real wealth is portable. Meaning, wherever you are, what skills you bring to the table, what knowledge you have, what network do you have? And that's seen that play out in your story. The rat race makes people's lives cloudy. Wake up every morning, go to a job, come back, right? I want to have an idea of what a day is like in your life.
That's right.
Like a day, clarity of a day, what a day is in your life from beginning to end. So just give an idea of your lifestyle. Yeah.
My days are still the same 12 hours like most people. I start very early. My days start 3 a.m. in the morning. Most days. Some days I could wake up later. Some days a bit earlier. And it's something I conditioned myself over time. It's the way I have been. Remember, my mother was into a restaurant business.
Okay.
Your mother were in restaurant. They have to wake up very early to cook so they can meet the
demand
of the morning. So I think that conditioned my body. That's number one. Number two, I work a lot on my preparation. So I'd rather be ready, and being ready means that you start preparing early on. I do have a calendar that covers almost 12 months all the time because I'm juggling many balls. I'm juggling a couple of balls. In the workplace, we juggle balls a lot,
Yes.
So my day starts at 3 o'clock. I try to read something. I always have.
When do you go to bed to wake up at 3
Sometimes I go to bed 6 o'clock p.m., some 7 p.m., sometimes 8:30, but I'm always that 7:30 thereabout. I shut down unless I'm watching football, and if the league is here. I think sometimes the Spanish league will drag. It keeps me on. But when I find time, I get sleep. Remember, sleep is not just at night. I also believe in that. It mustn't be 9 to 4 a.m.
Which many people do. Many of us
12
do.
p.m. Yesterday, I was coming back from Ikeja. I think I slept off. I woke up when the driver was driving into our estate. So I had probably had 1 hour sleep. So my day starts quite early. It starts early, and I think that gives me a bit of advantage because I have time to reflect without phone calls or emails dropping in or WhatsApp messages. That's a great time for me. I also have time to review my calendar for the next 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and just be sure that it's all in order. I have time to probably put things together in a way that I build in slack. I always have that 1-2 hours in the day that in case things don't follow, don't work the plan, I still have a slack. Yesterday I was supposed to leave somewhere by 1 p.m. I ended up leaving 3:30. But I built that in already. Okay, they may not turn up on time. We might lose time. There might be traffic. So I still got to Ikeja 5 o'clock that I planned. So it's about, I start early. And then by 3-4 p.m. I wind down. Sometimes 2 p.m. I'm done. Even when I used to work 9 to 5.
Yes.
3 p.m., 4 p.m. I'm done for the day. Then I can go visit people in the office or go somewhere. Yeah. But I get that time in the morning to, probably have my prayer, do some reading, prepare for my day.
Reflect into the future.
5
years.
Critical to review that plan. I always review that almost every day. So if you come into my wardrobe, you see that, every year I review that as well. So. But that's it's that time, that 3 to 5 a.m. in the morning is critical time because I spend it virtually just me, trying to reflect on the journey that I have to make that day and the week and the month, etc. Yes,
they said to know the secrets of successful people is in their stories. You said a lot in these few minutes, especially this thing you said, and I must say that you told me this thing the first time about a week ago, and it shifted my mind, my perspective, and I've tried to build into my own way of life. I do things not just when I go to bed, but realizing that I have 6 hours. Time is my friend or time is my enemy. It's always there 24 hours. You decide. It's up to you what you do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for that. Another thing is, as a leader, watching you as a young employee was just mind-blowing. When you step into the room, your sleeves were always folded most times, like the way they are folded today. So I know it's not by coincidence your sleeves are folded, but that sent a loud message throughout the organization. Everybody wanted to deliver because Chidi Okoro is around. When he's out, you can't slack. You cannot be found wanting. Not because you're going to drop the hammer on them, but yes, you're not afraid to drop it because you did drop it. But people were energized by your presence. Did you learn this? Did you intentionally learn this? And do you intentionally know when you're doing it? And because as a leader, I think it's very important to understand the skill of communication, not just words, but non-verbal communication, how you pass on energy to people. Can you share a bit more about this?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I worked across organizations and I met different kinds of people and their different leadership styles. And one of the things I do, I'm very perceptive. I try to learn something from everyone I meet. And I've seen, leadership is about just making sure the path is clear to everyone. And the way we have to go, the journey is very clear to everyone. And I've seen leaders who truly just use the right word, energize the team. One of the things that happen in the workplace is that there are conflicts everywhere, just silo mentality. productivity is an issue. There's confusion everywhere. One of the things that I've seen some great leaders and organizations have been through is to just bring clarity to all of this. That's and one of the ways to do that is your presence. Your presence, not you being there, but the way you communicate, the way you get across. People are going to follow what you do. People are going to follow. If you in our countries where turning up late makes you a big man. That's right.
Yes.
Not responding to your message makes you a big man in Nigeria. So one of the things I do, I first of all challenge all those dominant logics that the leader has to come last. No, I will have to come first. That's critical. Or you don't respond to your message because you're a big man. No, big men should respond to their message. The more you do that, and I'm also if you notice, a lot of us get leadership position, then we hide away. They don't see us anymore. Mm-hmm. We were working in a company. We were there to lead people, to deliver value to customers, to shareholders, etc. I should be leading that, so I was fully involved. And then going to work is going to work. Some days has to be to fold the shirt and get the work done. And the more you're involved, the more you don't see surprises as a leader. The more you're involved in the front line, you're involved in the operations, the more nothing surprises you. You expect, you see the outcome that will come. So I'm all through work, I want to be involved. I want to be on the front line, so I can, I probably want to make the decision sitting there in Ibadan or somewhere in Kano with the team, rather than waiting for the paper to go through. Just take down the bureaucracy. The key thing is to see, can you challenge the dominant logic? But that takes a lot of toll on you. You have to have the mental and physical energy to do that. To be active through and through. So not everybody will do that style. There are other styles. There are people that are not there, but you still feel them. But my own is slightly different. I want to be there because I walked with a couple of people and I saw their styles. Some were there and then you felt them. I thought that was the one that suited my own system or my own person, to just be there, be available, be visible, and be and lead from the front. So that's a style that I took, but it takes a lot of energy to do that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you were the first Nigerian MD, managing director for GSK Consumer.
For the PLC. Yes,
PLC.
For the PLC.
Yes. Was that a goal for you? And intentionally, backstep, did you work towards it? Because there are many people who are, I heard this somewhere, that at the top, everybody's competent. So it's no longer about who's competent or not competent, but it's how you network, how you position yourself. That is important. How can you give a bit of a backstory of how that happened?
I spoke about having a goal. We go into our careers. Sometimes we have the goals are too short term.
We believe our career is in our hands, but many people think our career is in HR hands.
Career is certainly in your hand. The HR can facilitate that. Your manager can facilitate that. It's in your hands. You decide what becomes. So many people go into their career thinking about the next bonus, the next year. Some come in thinking about the next 10 years, the next 20 years. So one of the things I did early on was to say I wanted to be in a position where I can be considered to run an organization. Maybe there's something I can bring. Having worked across organizations, maybe I bring a slightly different perspective. So I planned it, I thought through it, and one of the ways to get that is, first and foremost, the result has to be good. That's key. Number one, the values of the organization has to be good. But the other thing for me is being different gets you noticed. Being unique, different, distinct in the way you did things gets you noticed. And there's always a chance that somebody says, let's try this person that's different. This person that, he comes common, simple, but he can make the tough calls. The results will be good. Yeah. I thought about that. It was part of my goal to really try to get to the top of my career. And then the other thing is, I think the more, in the course of your career, and you learn things. I worked in milk industry, pharma industry. I worked in personal care. I worked in telecoms. that can give me some opening that most people may not have. It gives me a bit of breadth. Yeah, that's one thing that it could do for me. And when you work in a farm or FMCG, the owners of the business typically favor people who are quite close to the front line, the customer. They do favor that. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, they love the fact that they had that the MD was in Maiduguri last week, he was in Kano, he was in Calabar, he landed in Ibadan, he was on Anisha. They love that. They said, oh yeah, it must be a good MD. You know, the shareholders love that, you know, obviously. But first of all, my goal was how far can I get? But you do that through learning, practice. And I think the other one is about, I think the more you practiced, the better you get.
Okay.
If you practiced keeping to time, it becomes the way you work. If you practice engaging with people, if you practice being warm in the midst of people, you become warm in the midst of people. I think I knew that you have to practice, and I did practice. I mean, I practiced getting to work by 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and then I started to do that. It became the way, and it saved me in Lagos from going on traffic. So I didn't see traffic. So when people complain about traffic, I said I'm not seeing it. So you can see how, you know, on different sides it did help. Yeah.
And what I hear you say also is about being like a sponge. What I heard you say, like being like a sponge, the way you were able to soak in information. I tried that. I learned that, not intentional, but I realized it's actually a thing. We are smarter than we know. They say we use less than 10% of our brain function. Just by observing you at work, I learned a lot of things. By observing many people, I learned a lot of things. So what I hear you say, from working in different industries, that also give you a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
For executives and senior managers, many people don't even realize how to speak during meetings, how perception is a thing. Perception is almost it's literally reality.
Absolutely.
As we climb up the ladder. Emotional intelligence, and importantly, knowing thyself. Did mentorship help you in the journey? How's that been?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had mentors, and they were not aware they were my mentors.
Okay.
Yeah, in one of the companies I worked, they had, you know, they recommended mentors. I said I was not interested because I already had mentors for long. There were people I looked up to, 2-3 people I looked up to. They did not know I knew them. I go to meet them, we chat, but that's it. I was watching how they coordinated things, and over time I learned a lot. Yeah, it does help. It doesn't have to be formal. It can be informal. I speak to people about informal mentorship. You can have someone as your mentor who probably not even in Nigeria, nowhere near this continent, but it's your mentor. You're watching, you're reading their story, you're seeing their journey, you're watching all over. That helps. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, it does. It did help me a lot. Yes. And I saw, you can read how people conducted their careers, and how they made success and how they made failure as well.
Yes.
It's always clear. That's what happens where you see. So you can learn from those stories and probably apply, use that to your advantage at some point in your career.
Can you share a story where failure helped you?
That's right. Yeah. At some point, multinationals were appointing Nigerian CEOs a lot.
Yes.
I think in the 90s or 80s. And a couple of them had big issues. They had big issues. And some of the issues were issues of compliance, ethics and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So the time I was appointed, I didn't know if there were Nigerians that were heading multinationals then. They had moved away from appointing. There might be other reasons. And even the company I worked for, I think they do this audit. They do every 3 or 4 years. They have this audit. And a lot of time they do it in Africa. The score is probably 1 out of 5 star or 0 of 5. Mm-hmm. And I was really determined to beat that trend and not end up like many people ended up. And I saw some of the things they did were not just for personal interest. It might just be oversight or assuming that things will be the way we do it here. So I was very careful not to fall into that trap, because being Nigerian, running business for other nationals, I mean, it's complicated.
Yes.
Because our culture, tradition, sometimes vary from what you have. So I went to read up how those people made me. They were very intelligent people. They were great. Many of them I had met them. How they fell into that mistake, and you can see how and why. Sometimes they let things flow. They did what you call. Sometimes you delegate things and totally abdicate. So that what I was determined not to do was abdicate responsibility, because you had responsibility for shareholders that are here and not here, staff. That was important to not destroy the trust or confidence they reposed to me. So watching people and how they did that journey, some made mistakes. He said, no, you won't make that mistake. So that helped me make sure that I was really focused on
winning and succeeding.
Absolutely, being successful of the responsibility trusted upon me.
What you said is very loud and very, very powerful. Ownership, commitment to delivering what you say you will do, and it's like your word is your bond. Your character is more precious than gold, and I can see that has played across your career path. When you're looking to employ senior manager executives, what are the things you look out for? There are many people struggling to break into the C-suite roles. What are the things you look out for?
Good. I'm part of an HR company. We do recruitment for organizations and then my own company as well. And one of the things I do when we are trying to engage senior people, I'm looking at the aspiration of this person more than what he's done in the past. I'm looking at clarity of aspiration. Does he or she have a goal? Is he going somewhere? Is he very clear? Is he transparent with what he or she wants to do? I mean, you speak with people, they bumble through, they haven't thought through that. That's a red sign for me. That's a red flag for me. When they haven't thought through, you've been working for 15, 20 years, and the next 10 years, you're not very clear what you want it to be. That's the other one is people who, some fight for just the reward, and the reward has to be not based on performance. That's another one. So your experience is one thing, but your ability to bring value and your ability to really show that you're going to bring value is more important to me. So how are you going to bring value if you come in here? That's a simple question. What would change the day you walk in to this company as head of marketing, as head of operation? What would be different? How would we know that you just showed up? And then the people bumble through. Clarity is what you need at this stage. And then clarity of, in the next 10 years, what would you be doing? Some people go around it and then you come to reward, some fight for today, and you're saying, reward, you can have some shareholding over time. Say, no, I want everything now. Again, it's your perspective, but maybe it doesn't fit most of the companies. In terms of long-term thinking, it doesn't fit quite well. So those are some of the things.
In the multinational network,
yes,
3 things stand out for me: people, connections, growth.
That's right.
Across my career, I've seen that those are the things that have helped me across my career. I want to find out from you, how does that resonate with you as a person, as a career person? How has those 3 things helped your career, helped you?
I think the workplace is where regular people get together to do great things. That's a workplace.
Yes.
Regular people come together. Together we can do great things. So ability to engage with people, critical. To get on with people that are different from you, that you may not like them, but you have something. And also it can be, if you're able to show that you're that person, that you have your principles, you have the way you do things, and people are clear, this is how things come with you. That's important. The other one is networking. When we work, we're actually preparing for the future. The work is an opportunity, a platform to prepare for what we want to do in future. People don't realize that. The workplace is where we give you license to experiment with other people's resources so you can learn for your future. In the course of my career, I know quite a lot of people, and I met them in the course of my workplace. There are some of the things I do today. If somebody wants to meet somebody, tells me, oh, I know the guy. I mean, I known him. He was my manager at some point, or he was my sales rep 30 years ago. He said, are you still in contact? I say, yes, I am. I still chat to them on some time. And I was in Gombe for company in February, and one of our ex-staff, it was even a merchandiser. He's now more like the king. Where I went to,
wow.
I was impressed. He was a merchandiser just out of ND, had a OND, and I just chatted to him. He said, "Oh, I will welcome you to my palace," and I went there. I went for a company, so I went there. So that's critical. So networking is critical in the workplace, and networking is not just internal. I mean, I worked for a company that told me, "We want you 65% to face external." As a senior person, stay external. Growth is natural, but you need to plan it. It doesn't happen by accident. Growth in career, in life, you can say is natural to desire it, but you have to have a plan. There has to be a plan for growth. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So how do you gain growth? If you're so much great value at this level, that's a chance you can have growth. If you're learning a lot and building new knowledge, new skills, but you have to seek the opportunity for growth. Your career is yourself, is in your hands, not HR or your manager promoting you. You have to do the work. HR or manager can facilitate your career. So growth is natural thing that we all desire, but we have to work towards that. Most people sadly do not. And the other thing you have to bear in mind is that'll be sometime on the path to growth, there'll be a couple of stumbles.
Yes.
Yeah, there'll be mistakes that you make. You learn from them, you move on, and stay focused on the ball.
Okay. I remember when I was looking to do my master's, I met you and I told you I wanted to have my master's in one of the Nigerian schools, and you told me no. I did not understand why then, because I definitely couldn't afford the school you recommend in Lagos Business School. But you said I should go there. Now, that decision was obviously one of the best decisions in my career. Not only did it empower me with knowledge, which you said is very important.
Yes.
I got to meet some fantastic people, which I would normally not have met. It would have taken me a long time to gather people together. So I understand what you mean by the power of networks. Many people don't understand it, and you've explained it how people lead to connection, like connection leads to growth. You can desire growth.
Yes.
You can desire to be the next MD, the next GM, but you have to plan it. So I love the way you described it, and it's really, really was valuable to me. Failure in career is one point that people struggle with is office politics.
Yeah.
Office politics. Even though you have the desire to grow, there are several people who have the desire to grow. And for many people, they believe the scarcity of resources, scarcity of roles, 9 to 5 is all they know. Yeah. And it's going to be a challenge to break several people away from it, to start their own business and everything. What's your take on office politics?
I mean, first, before I come to that, not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. No, it's tough. It's difficult. It's complicated. Yeah. It's see the percentage of businesses that collapse. So that's one. Office politics. It's not something I was aware of it. I stayed aware of it. I don't want to get involved in it, but I'm aware of it. That's all. That's all I say to people. Be aware of it. Don't get sucked into it. It drains energy. It drains your credibility. It's not, but you have to be aware of it. It's natural. It will happen where you have people, but value is what keeps you in the workplace. If you're great value, chances are no one wants you out, even when they hate you, even when you're not in the clique, as the case may be. So the thing about politics, be aware. Just be aware, totally aware of it. Know where all the minds are laid.
Do not You have to play the game.
Know where the mines are laid, avoid the mines.
Okay.
The time you use to play the game, you can use it to be greater value for the company. That everybody will want to have you around. Yeah. I was always aware of it, but not something I cannot play it. I don't have the capability to play it. I don't have a background. I didn't even understand it fully. I'm just aware that, things are not what you think they are. But I focused on, can I bring the greatest value here that they always want me to be around? I used to work with a sales director at some point in my career. He said he used to, so we transfer people from one city to the other. The last thing he used to say to them is a British guy, crazy guy. He would say to them, make it so difficult. Or, no, first of all, let your taking over that Benin area or that department be so great that we'll forget that someone ever worked there. And he's saying it before the guy that is moving out from there.
Yeah.
He said, make it so great that we'll forget that anybody ever stepped in there. And after you leave, let the people that go in there struggle to ever get recognition. Yeah. And to do that, you have to work your whole body out here. He used to say that. So if you value, great value, I think people will want you to be around. Most people will. There'll be that 0.01%, that can sacrifice performance, great results, great behavior, great networking for something that is outside of the work. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I heard this quote saying that promotion or growth must not happen in the company. It can happen also outside the company. So that's where the networking goes in, so that you're known in the industry for the value you bring. As we wrap up, I have one more question for you. What would be your advice for senior managers looking to, you've said all the advice, but if you have to summarize in a few words for senior managers, executives looking to break through from one level to their next level?
Yeah. I think you said something, that next level mustn't be in your current role. It mustn't be in the company. It could be promotion that you have outside through the network you build. So a couple of things. Number one, there has to be a plan. There has to be an ambition and aspiration that you want to be this. Okay? And then the journey, you must be willing to go the journey. You've got to have the resilience to go the journey. There'll be bumps along the way. There are times that it doesn't work the way you planned it. You stay focused on the destination, so you can always get around and get back into the destination. But being great value today is one way to assure that growth for tomorrow. Being great value. The reward may not come here and now, it could come later. People speak about delayed gratification or something like that. Maybe in the workplace is where that is. You can get into roles that don't pay you so that well. You can get into positions or companies that don't pay you so much well, but you learn something that you're going to use for much, much longer. That's what people have to understand, that it cannot be about who pays the highest. It could be about where can I add the greatest value and take out the greatest value for myself. Because it's two ways. The workplace is where people create value and take value. That's it. So can I create the greatest value and take out the greatest value for myself? So it's about learning. Knowledge is critical. Build the networks that you need, but there has to be a plan already. There has to be aspiration. There has to be a goal. What do you want to do? Do you want to get to this level and go for your entrepreneurship? What do you learn here that will enable you to do that? And people must, get that free time to reflect on their career, their journey, their place in the company, and then be sure that after you leave, they remember you for something, and let it be positive, not just negative. So, career is a marathon of sorts. It's not a sprint.
Career is a marathon.
It's a marathon. You will have to be, and to run marathon, you have to have resilience. It's not a 100-meter dash. It's a very long marathon. Sometimes it's 10 years. It can be 30 years. It can be different organizations. So there's always adjustment, learning. So you need to have agility to go the career journey. Yeah, but always imagine the journey so that you're prepared for it. Yeah, that's right.
I think we should not lose our childlike curiosity.
Absolutely.
Many people get lost, become adults, and they forget to imagine and
That's right.
live in that best life.
Yes.
Thank you again, Chidi, for coming for this. This is the Multinational Network. We're all about people, connections, and growth. It's been an amazing time with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Delighted to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.